We're bringing the mic out front. We're going to be like so official today. Super official. Hello and welcome to the From Grief to Gold podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Ann, and I have been very bad at staking out. I have been consistent on this podcast, consistently late at creating content. And for that, I am so sorry. But life happens, and I've told myself numerous times that this podcast is not necessarily my priority. It is supposed to be a passion project of sorts that maybe eventually becomes like a legit income source. But for right now, my goal is just that it is for fun. And for fun sometimes means that you create a video and then 7 months later, or a podcast, depending on if you're watching me from YouTube or you're watching me or listening. Listening would be the other version. If you're watching me or you're listening to me, those are the two options. So, what has been going on? Let's see. So 7 months ago, that was probably around the time that I was deciding to choose myself and to choose my own focuses in my own direction, which also meant that I was withdrawing from my master's program, which was a really hard decision for me because I have shared on a number of platforms that in a journal entry I wrote from like 2010, this is like the end of high school time frame or summer after high school or fall after high school, I don't remember, but I had written about wanting to get into nutrition and therapy and animals, like I wanted to be able to do animal therapy or have horses and like all kinds of things. And this is also when I was deciding that I didn't want to be a doctor. I originally wanted to do orthopedic surgery or some types of sports medicine. And I was like, nah, I don't want to go to school for that long. So anyway, here we are, 2024, and it has honestly been a really great year. I've been a lot more focused on myself and my needs, which if you are a people pleaser, this is like a huge win. Like I went home to visit family at the start of this year back in Arizona, and I told people no. I told people that I wasn't going to be able to see them this visit because I was maxed out on my peopling. Oh, I should move my phone so it doesn't go and get all crazy. But I told people no, and that was like a huge win for me. I was so proud of myself. I was like, I'm emotionally, or not, maybe not emotionally, but I am like extroverted out. I need to bring in my introvertedness and chill out for a while without anybody around or without doing anything and making plans to go do all these things. So one of the biggest things for me this year has been saying no, which has been like really exciting as a known people pleaser. I'm very aware of the fact that I have burnt myself to oblivion, whether that's with friendships or with career, because or working on this master's degree and all the things that I've been doing, because I don't say no, or because I'm like, well, this is what everybody else is doing. This is what everybody else says I should be doing. So I should do it this way because that's like the only way anybody else is doing it. So me choosing to say no has been really exciting, and I'm really proud of myself for it. And ironically, with me saying no to things, it's also brought one of like the best years. And so that's been really nice. A lot of things have changed in my life recently, and all for the better. And I have a great relationship. My business is going really well, like as good, if not better, than when I was doing wedding photography. So that's really exciting, because if you're not a business owner, it can take a couple of years before you're getting solid word of mouth or consistent clients where you're not super stressed out about where the money's coming in. Not to say that I'm not still like stressed out to some degree, but I've been able to genuinely breathe again. And I don't think that I've been able to do that since I did wedding photography. And even when I did wedding photography, I was still super, super stressed out just because I had a child that I needed to take care of and like personal life circumstances, going through grief in numerous areas. And so it just feels really good to finally feel like I'm at a point where I'm finding a solid balance between everything. And I feel like I've just been in chaos for so long that like I wasn't sure if I'd ever see that again. Like I was like, oh, this is just my life. It's just gonna be chaos forever. I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. So welcome to Chaos with Mel. But yeah, so it turns out that life does not have to be chaotic all the time. That, maybe there are times where there is chaos, but it does not have to be chaos consistently. So part of that has been me saying no. It's been me maybe being a little bit stressed about financials, but knowing that a certain project isn't a good fit for me and saying no. It could be realizing that a relationship wasn't a good fit for me and saying no, whether that's romantic or friendship. Deciding that homeschooling was the better option and saying no to public school for my son and our lifestyle, that was me saying no. I had also been given the opportunity to do public speaking for an organization that I really, really appreciate. And just because of life and the things that I have going on, as excited as I was about that opportunity, I ended up saying no. And it's wild. Like, it's so, in a way, it's like, oh, but like all these missed opportunities. And what if I'm never able to do it again? Oh no, hold on. I gotta give this child permission to play things. Another version of saying no. I started, and I'm really proud of myself, I started saying no to my child, which probably sounds so dramatic. I said no to my child. But no, for real, like we had gotten so bad about screen time. And so I finally started saying no. I was like, buddy, you're over your limit. You spend way too much time on tech. Like we need to start saying no. And I finally figured out how to use the Apple devices so that I can limit my son's screen time without limiting my own phone and my own computer screen time. So that's been like a huge win for me. But again, going back to the saying no and the relief that can come from it, or with me deciding to withdraw from my master's program, that was a huge no for me. And it was a hard no, like hard on me emotionally and just like in 50 million directions of like, well, am I just being lazy? Like, am I just coming up with excuses? Or is this genuinely something that just isn't aligned right now? And I think as a people pleaser, it can be so hard and like you feel so guilt-ridden when you choose to say no. And even if you're not sure, like you may not even know why you're saying no, but somewhere deep down, intuition, gut feelings, or just you can feel the impending burnout. Or you can feel the impending burnout coming for you. It's okay to say no. If there's like a quote that like, I'm so bad with quotes. If you've ever listened to any of my videos or podcast episodes, like I butcher quotes constantly. But one of them relates to opportunities will never pass you by. And it's not that opportunities aren't going to pass you by, but like if it's meant for you, it will. It will be. Like it will be. It will happen. Whether or not it's this go around or another time. Like if it's an opportunity that's for you, it will make its way back when it's the right time. And so with me dropping out of my master's program and deciding to focus on myself, I knew that maybe later on down the line, life will be in a different place for me where I can go and finish that degree, and I'm not as stressed about 15 hours of free interning hours a week. And maybe my son will be back in school. Like, who knows? Who knows? And for the speaking opportunity that I decided to say no to, even though I was so excited about it, I was going to be traveling for these different events and it was all going to be paid for. And I was just so excited for this opportunity to finally grow as a speaker. But because of my current life circumstances, I said no. But I'm trusting that when the time's right, I will be back on a stage and I will be in a much better place to be able to travel with my son or to have him with other people so that I can go and do these speaking engagements. And just so many different things, so many different things. And so I guess like the main focus of today's episode is that it is okay to say no, and it is not selfish to be selfish. And this is mostly geared towards my people pleasers. Like, if something doesn't feel right, even if you feel guilty because you're like, I know that I can help, I know that this could be good, I don't have to. Like, I don't have to do this thing. Just because I know that I can doesn't mean that I need to. Just because I feel like I should do it doesn't mean I actually have to do it. And sometimes saying no isn't good feeling. Like, you might feel bummed about it. And that's okay, because maybe later on a different opportunity will come up and you're going to be like, I'm so glad I said no. Like, yes, I was sad in the moment that this thing didn't work out, but I'm so glad that it didn't work out. And it's not to say that you won't sit back and be like, but I wonder, like, what if that opportunity did work out? Because I think about that, like, with flight medic. I wanted to become a flight medic in the Army, and I said no because dumb excuses, because I was like head over heels for somebody or whatever the excuse was at the time. But at the end of the day, like, I am still glad that life has worked out the way that life has, you know? And so it kind of goes to this trusting the process and trusting that, like, life will work out for you, even if it doesn't feel like it in this season, or even if it doesn't feel like it right now. I guess that's the same thing as in this season. But it's okay to say no, even to yourself. Like, sometimes we even need to say no to ourselves. Like, oh, I really want to just sleep in and not do anything. I really don't want to make these videos. I really don't want to make content. I really just want to, like, eat carrot cake and drink champagne all day. I don't want to go for a walk, even though it's beautiful outside and the weather is perfect. Like, sometimes we gotta tell ourselves no too and say, this is going to be the best thing for you to do. You know that you feel better when you go outside. You know that the only way to start getting success is if you actually show up. So sometimes we have to say no to ourselves as well, and not people please ourselves. Our little goblin that doesn't want us to do anything. Like, sometimes we gotta not people please the mad goblin and tell it to suck it up at our cup and that we got things to do. So anyway, this is my, like, post 7-month hiatus podcast episode / blog post / YouTube upload. So that's all I have for you. I hope that you are well and that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful month, a wonderful year. And I will catch you on the next episode. Okay, bye.